It's June 18th, and the strange side of history awaits. Today, we have a city battling a flood of fire, monks witnessing a strange event in the sky, and a mysterious death that still fuels conspiracy theories. Let's begin. On June 18th, 1875, the streets of Dublin didn't just catch fire, they began to flow. Around 8 o'clock that evening, flames broke out at Malone's Malt House on Chambers Street, where thousands of barrels of whiskey were stored behind a warehouse wall. The heat reached the casks, and one by one, they burst open. More than 5,000 barrels ruptured, releasing a 6-inch deep river of undistilled cask-strength whiskey into the cobblestone streets. But this was no ordinary rush downhill, it was burning. The fiery current rolled through Chambers Street towards the Coombe, lighting the night with a strange orange glow as people watched Dublin's streets, a river of flame. Firefighters quickly realized that the water would only make the disaster worse, so they fought it with sand and earth, and bizarrely, with a wall of horse manure. No one died from the flames, and no one died from the smoke, but 13 recorded deaths came from alcohol poisoning. Desperate locals had rushed toward the burning flood with pots, pans, buckets, and even boots, trying to scoop up the free whiskey, not realizing that it was powerful enough to kill them. By morning, the fire was out. The fact that people use boots and buckets in such desperation to scoop it up is surreal. On June 18th, in the year 1178, 5 monks in Canterbury Cathedral looked up at the night sky and believed they saw the moon tear itself apart. Above them hung a thin crescent, quiet and pale. Then, according to Grievous of Canterbury, something impossible happened. The upper horn of the moon seemed to split open, and from the wound came fire, coals, and sparks. The monk said the moon twisted and withered like a wounded snake, as if something had struck it from the darkness of space. For centuries, the account sat recorded like a medieval nightmare. But then, in the 70s, one scientist suggested a terrifying possibility. Maybe the monks had witnessed an asteroid smashing into the moon, carving out the massive Giordano Bruno crater. But science found a problem. The impact that huge should have showered the Earth in lunar debris, creating a brilliant meteor shower seen around the world, but no one else recorded it. Imagine looking up at the moon and thinking the moon itself had been struck. Even if it was just a meteor, that would have been terrifying back then. On June 18, 1982, a body was found hanging beneath London's Blackfriars Bridge. The man was Roberto Calvi, an Italian financier so connected to Vatican money that the press called him God's banker. He was dressed in an expensive suit. In his pockets were thousands of dollars in cash and 5 bricks. At first, authorities called it a suicide, but that did not sit right. Calvi's shoes were strangely clean, with little sign that he had walked through river mud beneath the bridge. His injuries raised questions, and the more investigators looked, the less his death seemed like a final act of desperation. It looked like a message. Calvi had been the chairman of the Banco Ambrosiano, once Italy's largest private bank, but behind its polished walls was financial abyss, missing money, offshore accounts, mafia links, and connections reaching towards the Vatican's own bank. When the bank collapsed, more than $1 billion had vanished, and then Calvi vanished too. When a banker, tied to the Vatican, secret societies, and missing billions turns up under a London bridge, it does not quite feel like a coincidence. Another day, another strange bite from history. Like, comment, and subscribe. Your next eerie dose is just a day away.